Hello, this is Dr. Quek. Today I'm going to talk to you about MSMA. What is MSMA? MSMA stands for the Manual Saliran Mesra Alam Malaysia, or in short form is called MSMA, MSMA. In English, we call it the Urban Stormwater Management Manual for Malaysia. This is a document that is published by the Department of Irrigation and Drainage, and is required by law in Malaysia for all design on drainage system to comply with this requirement. So who is affected by MSMA? MSMA affects a wide group of people. Example, engineers, architects, town planners, and also quantity surveyor. Besides the professional group, MSMA also affects the developers, contractors, government regulators, and also students. What is the main purpose of MSMA? The main purpose of MSMA is about control at source. In the earlier publication before MSMA, it was based on the rapid disposal approach. But in MSMA, we introduced a new concept. It's called control at source. There are two parameters involved. One is water quantity, another one is water quality. Basically, it's required that the water quantity and the water quality must not exceed that before the development. So to achieve this, it's necessary to provide structural and also hydraulic structures. Example is the site storage facility, and also control structures to control the runoff. The ultimate objective is to ensure that it's zero development impact in terms of the water quantity and also the water quality from a development site. Now, the history of MSMA. The first drainage guideline in Malaysia was published in 1975. It's called the Planning and Design Procedure Number 1. About 25 years later, in 2000, the first edition of MSMA came out. This is a very thick document, consists of 2 volumes, total 1,100 pages. So this document introduced a lot of new concepts not found in the earlier edition. A lot of new design concepts, a lot of computational procedure were introduced in the first edition of MSMA. Then 11 years later, in 2011, the second edition of MSMA came out. This second edition is roughly about half the thickness of the first edition. It also covers all the major topics in MSMA 1, except that it's now in a more condensed format. The same topic will cover in MSMA 2 compared to MSMA 1. The same topic, they cover the same topic: OSD, storm, design, discharge, detention basin, sediment basin, all the same topic. But in MSMA 2, these are more condensed. Now, what is the problem in complying with MSMA requirement? What problems we face in order to comply with the requirement of MSMA? Many professional people find it difficult to apply MSMA. Why? because they find that they cannot understand the computational method in MSMA. They also find that the design procedure also very difficult to understand. So that is the main stumbling block that is facing a lot of professional people. Secondly, another problem in complying with the requirement of MSMA is that the magnitude of the design parameters have changed. Example, the storm intensity have increased in MSMA 2 compared to MSMA 1. The storm temporal pattern have changed. Now it's divided into region, not east and west coast of Malaysia, no more. You know, it divided into a number of regions in MSMA 2. The peak discharge and the discharge hydrograph also have changed. The OSD, the computational procedure have changed in MSMA 2. Also the detention basin, the volume have changed because the rainfall intensity have gone up. And also the sediment basin, the volume also have changed. So as a result, we find that the drainage structures now are bigger. The drainage structures are bigger in MSMA 2 compared to MSMA 1. And as a result, the costs have also increased. Also in area where it is designed using the old procedure, we find that the structures are undersized. This is a problem that we are facing. Area that is designed using the old procedure, upstream area, we find that the structures are undersized. You know, if you apply the new procedure, we find that the size are too small. So this is another problem. Another problem is the regulators themselves are not familiar with MSMA. The regulators. So if the regulator themselves are not familiar with MSMA, what more the public? You know, because the public depend on the regulator, but the regulator themselves are not familiar. So another problem is MSMA 2, most of the MSMA 2 do not cover East Malaysia. Example, the storm. The storm in MSMA 2, there's nothing on storm for East Malaysia. There's no storm data at all. It's all on West Malaysia. So how to apply MSMA 2 for East Malaysia when there's no storm data inside MSMA 2? And to make the situation more complicated, a lot of state government department adopt different interpretation of the guideline, thus making it more difficult to comply. The interpretation of MSMA is not the same throughout the whole country. It depends on state to state. Certain states have a requirement, have a special requirement compared to other states. This is another problem that we are facing in complying with MSMA. So, with MSMA 2 now, what are the changes in MSMA 2? Compared to MSMA 1, what are the changes? The first thing that we notice that in MSMA 2, there is now 135 rainfall stations. And that's only on Peninsular Malaysia. Compared to MSMA 1, there were only 35 storm stations across the whole Malaysia. So in other words, there's an increase of 100 rainfall stations in Peninsular Malaysia alone. And for places like Kuala Lumpur, last time there were only one rainfall station in MSMA 1. Now in MSMA 2, in Kuala Lumpur we have 14 rainfall stations. 14 rainfall stations throughout the whole Kuala Lumpur. So if you are doing any design in Kuala Lumpur, you've got to be sure which is the rainfall station that you apply. You cannot just apply, say, you know, you are designing something in the Sungai Besi, you go and apply a rainfall station in MSMA. No, cannot. You have to apply a rainfall station near Sungai Besi in the south of Kuala Lumpur, not MSMA, which is located in the northern part of Kuala Lumpur. For Selangor, we have 10 rainfall stations in MSMA 2, compared to last time only 1 station in MSMA 1. So, on the design parameter, we apply MSMA 2 and also we apply MSMA 1 to a case study for Kuala Lumpur. And we compare the design parameter like storm, design discharge, rational method, time area method, temporal pattern. We compare all this. And what we found is that the storm intensity for Kuala Lumpur have gone up by up to 126%. And the design discharge using the rational method have gone up by 131% using MSMA 2. And the design discharge using the time area method have gone up by about 127%. And also there's changes in the temporal pattern in MSMA 2. The temporal pattern for Kuala Lumpur for example, for Kuala Lumpur, now there is a temporal pattern for Kuala Lumpur in MSMA 2. Compared to last time, for Kuala Lumpur, we just use the west coast of Peninsula. We use the temporal pattern for west coast of Peninsula. But now there is a temporal pattern for Kuala Lumpur in MSMA 2. If you compare the storage volume in MSMA 2 and MSMA 1, we find that the OSD, for OSD, the SSR, the site storage requirement in MSMA 2 is nearly double that of MSMA 1. It's about 190% of MSMA 1, the SSR site storage requirement. It's nearly double. And the detention basin, the storage volume, is about 130% higher in MSMA 2. The sediment basin is up to 165% bigger using MSMA 2. Now I have mentioned to you all the problems, the difficulty in complying with MSMA, and also the changes in MSMA 2 compared to MSMA 1. So finally, we have developed a tool to help you. We have developed a tool. The tool is a software. It's called MSMAware. This is a software that is designed to make life easier for you in complying with MSMA requirements. Let me talk to you a bit about what is inside this software, what this software can do for you. This is a software where once you start up the software, you presented with a map of East Malaysia or West Malaysia. Now, say if you click, let's say you click on the map for West Malaysia, it will present to you all the 135 stations, all the 135 rainfall stations in West Malaysia. It's on a Google Live map. You just click whichever station you want. The software will automatically compute the design storm for you. Imagine just click the location you want. Example, you want to design the storm for But, you just click the location on the Google map, click, and then the software compute the hydrograph, not the hydrograph, the rainfall hydrograph for Kuala Lumpur, no, for But. And then it will compute the rainfall IDF curve, and then it will generate a report for you, ready for submission. Another thing is, if you want to compute the discharge, the design discharge, you can use the software. Just click a button, choose your location, and you enter the area and the land use. Select the type of land use. There's a pull down menu, you just select. You select the type of land use, and the software will compute the design discharge for you. Software will compute the design discharge for you and generate a report. Same thing with the time area method. All you have to do, select your location, enter your time area diagram, and the software will compute the design hydrograph for you. OSD, if you use the software, just click a button, you can compute the on-site detention basin for you. You can compute the OSD using either MSMAware or MSMA2. Just click. In MSMAware is based on the Swinburne's method. In MSMA2 is based on the approximate Swinburne method. And then we even give you the third option, which we develop in the software. It's called the exact Swinburne method. Now this method uses the data in MSMA2, but it uses the formula in MSMAware to compute the OSD. We have compared the result, and the values seems to be much better. Because if you apply MSMA2 from our case study, the OSD in MSMA2 is nearly double that of MSMAware. But if you use the exact Swinburne method that we developed, you can find that the discharge is only slightly higher than MSMAware. The OSD, the site storage requirement is only slightly higher. And all this we have actually written papers and submitted to IEM journal for publication. So the details of the paper, you can find it inside the report that the software generates. So the last thing, not the last, it's the second last topic is detention basin. The software allows you to design detention basin anywhere in Malaysia. Just choose your station and then click the button, and the detention basin can be done. Culvert. The software allows you to do culvert design. No need to use nomograph in MSMA2. Just use the software, you can compute your culvert, you can design your culvert. No need to use the nomograph to design. So in summary, this MSMAware allows you to do all the computation in MSMA1 and MSMA2. Just click a button, it will generate a report for you. Okay, last, I would like to share with you some benefit of MSMAware. First thing is, using MSMAware, you just click a few buttons, you can do very complicated calculation. Just click a few buttons. All the design, the requirement are all programmed inside. So you can be certain that you are complying with the MSMA requirement. You can design a structure easily, like OSD detention basin, using the software. The software will do the computation. You only need to key in a few important parameters. The software can generate a report in a format that you can submit to the authority. And there is the free lifetime technical support. Anytime you have problem with our software, you can call us. And there's free update for life. We have a lot of videos we upload to the YouTube for our user. So most of the time you need to use only the video. You can be certain that you can apply the software correctly. Just watch the video step by step. Everything explained in the video. There's a help desk. There's a help document online. You go to MSMAware.com. You can find the help document online. It's updated constantly. Whatever problem you're having with the software, go to the online help document. Refer to that document. And the MSMAware has a very intuitive user interface. Very intuitive, very attractive user interface. So it's very easy to use. Another thing is, MSMAware allow you to compute using not only MSMA 2 but also MSMA 1. So this is useful. Sometimes a project may be designed using MSMA 1 earlier. You want to check. So you can apply the software for MSMA 1. If you want to design for MSMA 2, you just click MSMA 2. So that finally, the most important thing is that MSMAware is designed by a team of Malaysian engineers. We are engineers. We are not programmers. Don't make a mistake. We are not programmers. We are engineers. So engineer, we design software for engineers. And we know what is your requirement. Because we are engineers ourselves. We are engineers turned programmer, not the other way around. Not the other way around. We are not programmers. We are engineers turned programmer. So we understand what most engineers want. We also work like you. We were in the working as a consulting engineer, and we face the authority every day like you. We face the client, we face the authority, and we know what is their requirement. We are not programmer. Programmer don't know. Programmer can only program, but engineers can do more than programming. So we would like to share with you all the benefit of MSMAware, how MSMAware can help you to make your life easier. So if you need information, please fill out the form next to me. Fill out the form and we'll get in touch with you. We'll send you the information about MSMAware. Okay? See you.